Our tax system is being grossly misrepresented, and I think you should know about it, because a tax on corporations is ultimately a tax on you. Welcome to the AlterNate Vantage. My name is Nate, and this is where I provide a different perspective on financial literacy, news, and generational wealth. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to like and subscribe. All right, let's go. As promised in my last video, I'm going to give you a real-world demonstration about how corporate taxes impacts your wallet. So let's get into this. I'm going to show you a clip of Biden speaking himself at the State of the Union.
Remember in 2020, 55 of the biggest companies in America made $40 billion and paid zero in federal income tax. Zero. Not anymore. Thanks to the law I wrote and we signed, big companies have to pay minimum 15%. But that's still less than working people pay in federal taxes. It's time to raise corporate minimum tax to at least 21%.
Now, this might seem great on the surface, but I'm going to show you some underlying issues with this logic. First off, corporations don't finance their own taxes. We do that as the consumer. If you want to see how that works, go watch my last video where I did a full, complete breakdown. But going by Biden's numbers, I'm going to show you the difference between a 15% tax on corporations and a 21% tax on corporations. So here's the first scenario of 15%. Let's just say a company sells their good for $200, and that company has an overall operating expense of $100. That means their profit for the year will be $100, and then you apply a tax rate of 15%, meaning that company is going to walk away with $85 cash in hand. Now, if we take this exact same scenario and increase taxes to 21%, that means they're going to walk away with $79 cash in hand, which is a $6 difference. So the company is keeping $6 less at the end of that year. Now let's assume for a second that that $6 was important to the company. Maybe they had expansion plans. Maybe they're going through a credit evaluation. Maybe it's impacting the value of their stock. There's a number of scenarios where that $6 difference might be incredibly important. So if the company is going to try and recoup that $6, the easiest and most effective thing they can do is just increase their prices. So let me show you how that translates. Instead of selling their good for $200, they're now going to sell their goods for $208, which is a price increase of 4%, by the way. Once you remove expenses, this means their profit is $108. Then we take out 21% in taxes, meaning they're walking away with the same $85 that they walked away with before. What I'm demonstrating to you is that it doesn't matter if the taxes are 15% or 21%. If the company wants to rebalance their books to make sure they walk away with the same end-year profit, they're going to do that by adjusting the prices. So here's the thing. The company, they don't lose anything. They are technically paying more in taxes, but they used the consumer to actually accommodate those needs. The government is gaining $8 in tax revenue, and the consumers are losing $8 in the price. And it was at this point that I was going to make a joke about trickle-down economics, but most people won't get it. Now, the reason why this shift and change in taxes to corporations isn't so obvious, and the reason why politicians will typically say things like, it's time for corporations to pay their fair share,
Big corporations are very wealthy begin to pay their fair share.
is because it's kind of one big joke, quite honestly. Companies, they adjust their pricing in very strategic ways, seasonally over the years, accounting for inflation, accounting for taxes, accounting for expenses, accounting for a number of different things. So the consumer doesn't necessarily feel the direct impact. It's not like taxes increase day one and then all prices adjust by day two. This is done over the course of the time, so that way the consumer doesn't actually pay attention to these things in their purchasing habits. But I can almost guarantee the next time you see a headline similar to that in Nature, where corporations are being encouraged to pay more in taxes, you might think about that again and say, wait a second, that doesn't benefit me very much at all. So if you learned something out of this video, don't forget to share if you think someone else might benefit from it. And also, if you haven't done so already, like and subscribe. With that, I'll see you in the next one.